So where do I start with this video today? I came into this game with high expectations. I thought with a new and improved offensive line, new weapons for Daniel Jones, and a better defense that this team would come out looking strong. And unfortunately, we just looked absolutely awful. And honestly, I came into the video planning to talk louder than I am now, be all reckless and stuff. But honestly, I'm going to keep the same tone I am now because honestly, I'm just not in the mood for it. Honestly, it pains me every year that as Giants fans, we have these high expectations after having these, I guess, somewhat good off seasons that we see, and we end up looking absolutely atrocious, just like we did today. This is a week one all over again against the Dallas Cowboys last year. We came into this game having high expectations because of a good offseason we had, and we looked terrible, just like we did this game. Personally, I'm just going to go over this game pretty briefly because honestly, I'm disappointed. I called out of work today to go watch this game, and look what happened. I ended up looking stupid, just like I always do. Believe it or not, I'm more disappointed I called out than me losing this game because with the Giants, as I said before, when you get disappointed all the time, you expect disappointment, so you can't really be mad. So that's why I'm more mad that I called out of work for this game. But anyways, let's just recap this game pretty briefly, honestly. Nobody in this game looked even close to good, honestly. Deja Lawrence probably the only player who did anything in this game, honestly. Everybody else is bad. The rest of the defensive line was bad. The secondary was awful. The offense was terrible. Everything in this game was bad, like I said, outside of Dexter Lawrence. Daniel Jones was absolutely atrocious, and this is the main person in this game who I said was the X factor. I said if Daniel Jones played well, we probably win this game, and Daniel Jones didn't play well. He went 22 for 42 for 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, and both of those interceptions were absolutely terrible throws. The first interception, he tried to throw a screen pass. Andrew Van Ginkle, whatever his name is, read it perfectly and picked it off, and then went back for a pick six. The second interception, he was in the red zone, tried to do it to Darius Slayton in double coverage, and he got picked off by Harrison Smith. Somebody please feel free to let me know this. How is it year 6 in the NFL? You've been in the NFL 6 seasons now. You still can't process. Your pocket awareness is also still terrible. You stare down your number one target. So I don't understand. These are things in your year 6 that you should have down pat and fixed. And for Daniel Jones, he clearly does not have that fixed. And don't let the next thing I say overshadow anything else I've said to this point. Daniel Jones was definitely atrocious in this game. That cannot be changed. But Dable's play calling was absolutely terrible as well. There were a few times in this game where he kept calling running plays, and I'm like, why are you running the ball still? How is this helping us? You have guys like Darius Slayton, Jalen Hyatt, and also Malik Neighbors. Your first round pick, by the way, who didn't have a bad game today, but you know why he couldn't have a better one. But anyways, you have 3 of those guys who are capable of going deep when you need them to, and you called a deep ball probably once or maybe 3 times in this game. So I'm not understanding what's the point of having those guys at your disposal, and you're not using them the way you should be using them. All offseason, we heard about Joe Shane, John Mara, and Brian Dable. Both of these guys pretty much said that we need these guys to be playing at their best for Daniel Jones to play well. And Daniel Jones played horribly, and not only that, these guys were not even used in a proper way. Like I said before, Daniel Jones was terrible. No matter what I say is going to change that. But the fact is, this play calling was pretty bad too. Not worse than Daniel Jones in my opinion, but he was still bad enough to the point where it has you asking a lot of questions. And I'm glad I just saw this from Brian Dable's conference. Why are you sitting here calling running plays back to back in this game? I get it, Daniel Jones is a quarterback known for his running ability, but once again, you have 3 of the best deep threats on your team at your disposal. So I ask once again, why are you not using these guys the way you should be using? And honestly, I try to give Dable the benefit of the doubt. He doesn't have a good quarterback at his disposal right now. But at the end of the day, it's hard to sit here and defend you when you're calling boneheaded plays like this time and time after again. Truthfully, if this continues, I would not be surprised if Mike Kafka starts calling plays again. If that helps. Truthfully, I don't know. I can't even be surprised at our secondary. I knew it was going to get cooked. I said if we don't have a corner 2, that was going to be our downfall. And look what happened. Cordero Flott got absolutely burned by Jalen Naylor on that one play. I think was it before the second half, maybe. And then honestly, I don't even know what to say right now. Deontay Banks didn't look terrible in my opinion, but he did give that one touchdown to Justin Jefferson on that slant play. Tyler Newman actually looked decent in my opinion. I think Pennick looked good too. I think the safeties were the only part in the secondary who looked somewhat decent. Our defensive line honestly wasn't great, honestly, outside of Dexter Lawrence. Kayvon Thibodeau didn't have a single tackle in this game, so he didn't have a sack in this game as well. So overall, our defense wasn't really too good, but when you're on the field 24/7, that's typically what happens. I've already seen a lot of people flocking to defend Daniel Jones, saying, oh, the play calling was terrible. Here's how I view it. Can play calling be a huge factor into why a team doesn't win? Absolutely. But do you get that benefit of the doubt when you have 2 interceptions and are constantly overthrowing and underthrowing your receivers? Absolutely not. And also running into sacks. I saw him do that multiple times in this game. But at the end of the day, both things in this game were absolutely atrocious. But I believe Daniel Jones was the worst part about this game, honestly. Keeping my cool, honestly, because my plan was to go into this game and just see a whole lot and basically crash out. But right now I'm calm, but in a couple more weeks, you're probably going to see a bit more of a angrier side of me. Like, I truthfully don't understand this. With Daniel Jones, I'm going to be always more critical of him because it's 6 years. It's 6 years. You should not need 6 years to show everybody what kind of quarterback you are. Honestly, by year 3, you should know what quarterback you are. It's either you're not the guy or you are the guy. People keep saying after 2022, Daniel Jones proved he was the guy. No, Daniel Jones wasn't. Daniel Jones was just a quarterback who was good enough. Not great, not top 10, anything like that. He was just good enough. And I'm not sure why people kept saying this. No, bruh. After 2022, Daniel Jones not a franchise quarterback. He was just good enough to keep his job for that year. He still needed to prove to us that he was a franchise quarterback. And right now, over the last 2 seasons, he's not a franchise quarterback. I think we need to come to that conclusion right now, like seriously. I know a lot of people want to sit here and say the play calling in this game wasn't great, but at the end of the day, when you're sitting here having accuracy issues and turning the ball over, you don't get that benefit of the doubt that the play calling was bad enough to the point why you couldn't play that well. If Daniel Jones didn't have multiple issues in this game, I maybe would have said, okay, we'll give you a pass, maybe you'll turn it around next week, but you had multiple accuracy issues in this game, and then those interceptions, so you don't get that benefit of the doubt for me, and really you shouldn't have for the past couple seasons. I'm disappointed, don't get me wrong, because we had all this hype for training camp with Malik Neighbors in our offense, and we do this every year. We did it with Darren Waller, we did it with Neighbors. Neighbors, to his credit, didn't look terrible, but we had this whole hope that our offense would look good, and look what happened. They looked atrocious like they did in week 1. Once again in week 1, the Giants lose. And I said this multiple times over the past couple weeks. I said the Giants were going to need to start great in week 1 in order to basically set a precedent for the rest of the season. And unfortunately, the Giants did not look good, so this is not going to look good for the rest of this year. Because the Giants, they are still going to have to play multiple other teams in a gauntlet over the next couple weeks. They'll play the Commanders in week 2, and honestly, we're not even sure if that's going to be a surefire win to this point. Giants are still going to have to play multiple teams with great defense over the next couple weeks. They have to play the Browns, they have to play the Cowboys, they have to play the Seahawks, and they have to play the Eagles too. So the fact that we didn't win this game leaves us in the worst shape ever, honestly. Pissed off, I'm upset, but something told me in this video to keep my cool today, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. But anyways, I'm going to wrap the video up here. Embarrassment from the Giants, embarrassment from the entire team, honestly. Embarrassment from all sides of the coin, coaching, players, everything, honestly. If you made it to the end of this video, make sure if you haven't yet, you subscribe to my channel, tap the bell icon for future football content. Follow me on social medias down